missed that, but I just caught this like CD Lamb, baby. How about them Cowboys? Woo, woo, woo,
Wow.
woo, woo.
Wow.
Yeah, dang, I wish we could have got that on film. Like, he threw me the remote, and I one-handed caught it. That was crazy.
Was it a one hand?
It was.
I don't believe it.
You were literally sitting right here. I caught it like this. Come on. Damn. All the good stuff is off air.
It.
You don't gotta believe it. It happened. Andrew, tell the people what happens.
It happened.
It happened. Listen.
Is y'all capping like that Miami Dolphins cap that's sitting right there on y'all set? You guys are totally capping.
Boo! Tomato, tomato, tomato. Bad joke, bad joke, bad joke. Leave the comedy to me, Brandon Marshall.
Dang, that's 2 in a row. That's bad, huh?
Yeah, leave the comedy to me. I'm the funny one.
Listen,
guys. Welcome to Paper Out. Happy Tuesday. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, like your girl, it's an even happier Tuesday. You should have placed that bet. Actually, you shouldn't have because you would have lost. See that?
That's why I don't bet on the
B-Flow
Chargers.
knew exactly what he was doing. I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. We got Brandon Marshall joining us from H-Town. And I got in the studio with me, Brandon Flowers, a.k.a. B-Flow. Did you guys watch last night's game?
We watched that mediocre game last night.
It was okay.
I mean,
what happened?
We ain't on 10 like you are about it, Ash, but we'll get into that a little later.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Brandon, how was your flight to Houston? What's the weather like?
The flight was amazing.
Did you fly
I sat
private?
next to a lady and we talked about mental health and yoga for 2 hours, and apparently everybody on the plane heard us. Nagin and Keelan was sitting behind me, and they're like, "Man, you guys were loud the whole time." I was like, "Why didn't y'all tell me?" We were talking about some personal stuff, so everybody knows my business now. That flew from Fort Lauderdale to Houston last night on a 7:30 flight. Everybody knows my business.
Well, okay. I feel like people kind of already know a lot of your business, though. So,
oh, do they? Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Listen. All right, let's dive into the show today, guys. All right, so first and foremost, let's get right into it with some Tuesday headlines. B-Flow, what do you got for us? What's been on your radar?
Is Tyreek Hill the NFL MVP? A non-quarterback? I don't know. We got a Hall of Famer that's trying to make a case right now, so we'll see.
Interesting.
Right.
What you got, Brandon?
So look, I played for the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, and the New York Jets.
We don't have time to go through all these teams.
Okay, so I played for the Miami Dolphins, the Chicago Bears, and the New York Jets and Giants. And being in New York, I found out that, like, I think I was late to the show, that Batman lived in Gotham City. I didn't know Superman lived in Gotham City. Is Aaron Rodgers Superman? Huh? We will discuss.
Brandon. You want to?
Can we move on?
I was feeling that one, B. I was feeling that one, B.
Okay, first of all, Brandon,
like,
let me school you here real quick. Batman lives in Gotham City, but Superman lives in Metropolis.
Hey, where is that? That's a
Park? It's a make-believe city.
Is that Florham Park, New Jersey?
It's not a real place. I mean, Gotham's not a real place either, but it's modeled after New York. I guess so is Metropolis, but Superman does not live in Gotham City. So
maybe it was created where Aaron Rodgers now lives.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. You guys already know what my headline of the day is. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, listen. Jerry Jones was in the building. Michael Irvin was in the building. Jimmy Johnson was in the building. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones actually hugged it out on the sidelines of the game, which was very interesting because we all know I have a hair on my mouth. It's bothering me.
That's what you get for messing with me.
It's sticking to my lip gloss.
There you go.
I was trying to school you so that you can go ahead and next time you speak to someone, be on point. I was trying to help you out.
No, I'm on point. No, it's clear. Everybody's talking about it right now in the sports world that Aaron Rodgers,
I was talking about the Superman thing. Yeah.
He's walking, he's throwing, he's amping up his team, he's calling plays. He resides in Florham Park.
Okay. Well, we'll change it. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones hugged it out on the sidelines, which was good to see. Everyone's been fighting for Jimmy to be entered into the Ring of Honor. So maybe the fact that they were, showing a little TLC on the sideline will, give Jerry the nudge he needs to rightfully put Jimmy Johnson in the Dallas Cowboy Ring of Honor. But speaking of the Cowboys, I know the chat's going to love this. How about them boys? Because once again, it was Micah Parsons and that defense coming up with the big plays late in the fourth quarter as Dallas held on to beat the Chargers in Los Angeles. Dallas is now 4-2 and a game back of Philly for first place in the NFC East. You see that, B-Flow? That's why this was a must win.
Let's go, baby. This is me and Ashley's team. Let's go.
Anyway, so B-Flow, I'm going to start with you, traitor. You can't jump on the bandwagon now, right or wrong.
What do you mean I picked them?
You were teetering. You've been teetering for weeks. Stop it. How impressed should we be with after this Cowboys win?
I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. The Chargers are an up and down team. Their defense, especially their secondary, wasn't good this year. I mean, they at the bottom of the totem pool in the NFL with yards given up. But, you got to give Dallas some credit because they did what they were supposed to do with getting CD the ball early, which I think was a horrible job by the DC from the Chargers when I mentioned yesterday you should just take them out the game. You knew this was coming, but the Chargers, this is who they are, right? They play up, they play down, quarterback get hit a lot, Dallas get pressure. This was the team that Dallas needed to play right now, and I was wondering what Chargers team was going to show up, and that one showed up. So
the one that should show up, the one that Staley is not the coach of. But I digress. Brandon, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot that we can talk about here. But, yes, this is a moment where we need to highlight those Cowboys. How about those Cowboys? Ashley, Nicole, Moss, and myself picked them going into the 2023-24 season to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And last night got them a step closer to that. This was a big win because I feel like Dak Prescott felt what he needed to feel when it comes to how to win and be a champion. It wasn't pretty. Okay, it was tough. Defensively, they stood up, so they may be back. Offensively, they played when they needed to play. He made the plays when he needed to make the play. The 2-minute drive to get them in position to kick the field goal, that's how you need to operate as that type of quarterback if you want to be the guy, right? Also overcoming adversity. Think about all of the pressure that they had going into this game, Ashley and B, right? Just put yourself in Dak Prescott's shoes. My number one quarterback, my number one wide receiver wants the ball. Okay, he's at my head. The media, they're at my head. Okay, they've been talking about I've been turning the ball over my entire career, but it's really been 1 year. Okay, Jerry Jones, is he with me or is he not? So think about the moment that he had or what he felt when that field goal, when that ball went through the uprights. You saw it. You saw his reaction. Like, it was just, he just started saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. So Dak Prescott, I feel like potentially got over the hump last night on when it comes to am I a winner or not? Because that was against a really good team, the Chargers team. Now they're sitting at what, 2-3? B, what is the Chargers record?
Right.
Is it 3-3? What is it? 2? What
Two
are
and
they?
three.
2-3.
They're 2-3 right now, right? They're still a really good team. Everybody's been talking about the Chargers as a team that could potentially scare you the second part of the season. So they have some questions that they have to answer. But, man, when you look at how loaded they are on both sides, you say, you know what, Dallas, this was a great win for you.
Well, I know what the biggest answer is for the Chargers, and it starts with their head coach, but I digress.
Don't digress. I got a question for you, Ashley.
Well, let me start with this first. For the Cowboys, wasn't impressive. I give the performance a B+.
B+.
Yeah, it wasn't overly impressive for me. I think that it got down a lot closer to the wire than it probably should have. I wasn't that, confident or impressed, rather, with Mike McCarthy's play calling. I thought a lot of times it was predictable. It was stagnant. It was a lot of the criticism that he has received since taking over the play calling from Kellen Moore. But on the other side of that, Kellen Moore's play calling is very predictable as well, which is one of the knocks against him when he was in Dallas. So it was predictable versus predictabler, if that's a word. I will say, obviously, defensively, I think that Dan Quinn did okay. In terms of certain situations, obviously they held them to 17 points. So he did better than okay in the grand scheme of the picture. But if you actually get down to it, I think that there were a lot of the times that the defense had some holes in it, but it showed up when it needed to show up. Micah Parsons got the sack that he was looking for all night, just kept knocking at that door, and eventually it went ahead and broke down when they went ahead and needed to break down. Dak Prescott, though, gets my best grade of the night. I think that this was the Dak Prescott that we have seen earlier in his career, the one who goes out there and does whatever he has to do to win. I haven't seen him run like that in many, many games. He looked more confident. He looked more focused. Like you said, Brandon, there was a lot of pressure on him in this game, so that probably had something to do with it. But the incorporation of CeeDee Lamb was great to see. And Jerry, you see what happens when you get wide receiver number one, the football, good things happen. So Dak and CeeDee get my best grades of the night. Overall, B+, though. I'm not mad at it, but I'm not overly impressed by it either.
So Ashley, you gave Dak Prescott a B+.
No, I gave the team a B+.
What did you give Dak?
I'll give him an A-.
Okay. So when you talked about him running the ball, that's exactly when I saw that, and when we were watching, how he was making plays on the ground, B-flow, that's what I meant by he played the way he needed to play to win the game and felt that, right? Like feeling that, like, man, I can't just be conservative. I can't be thinking about, I'm a $40 million guy. My body is worth X, so I got to be available. No, he went out there and said, I'm laying it on the line. And that's what it's going to take for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to get over the hump. Because defensively, it looked like they may have finally recovered from the Trayvon Diggs injury, season-ending injury. But offensively, they're still finding their identity. They're still trying to find their rhythm. Like you said, Ashley, they just got CeeDee Lamb back involved. So that's exactly what I'm talking about when I refer to Dak Prescott feeling what he needed to feel to get over the hump.
So I didn't give my official grade, right, for the Cowboys. I'll give it a C. And the reason I'm going C, Ash, don't give me that. There's
always a hater in the room.
Don't give me that look, Ash. I'm going to tell you why I'm going C. Because, B, I disagree. I don't think they figured it out yet with Diggs being out, how they'll be successful like they were before when it comes to being a dominant defense. Because Keenan Allen was having his way at the beginning of the game.
Sure was.
Herbert was missing some throws that could have been touchdowns early. Like, Herbert just wasn't on. His offense from the Chargers wasn't fluid. Like, it could have got ugly really early. Sure. So I think they have to figure that out. The reason I give him a C also because Mike McCarthy. You said his play calling was predictable-ish.
It's always predictable,
right?
Though.
But I don't like, when it comes to the playoffs and being a contender and playing with the top and the best of the best teams, you have to coach. You have to be on point. At the end of the half, when it's 10 seconds, 12 seconds left, you don't call a timeout and take a shot at the end zone before you go ahead and kick the field goal. The ref was kind of looking at him like, yo, you sure you don't want to take a timeout now? And it's just like, nah, we just go bow and we go take a field goal. Like, it's like, get these.
But you know what, though, B-Flow? The unfortunate reality is that as long as Mike McCarthy, the only reason that that's not a knock against the Cowboys for me in terms of the grade is because as long as Mike McCarthy's there, that's always going to be an issue. That is what he is notorious for. Weird play calling, predictable play calling, bad decision making. I mean, bad time management. That is what you get with Mike McCarthy. So, like, if I'm going to knock down the Cowboys' letter grade every single time that happens, you're going to be doing it all season. That is who he is, which is why, personally speaking, I was never a fan of the hire. I think he's a far way from the Green Bay Mike McCarthy. And a lot of people will say, well, Aaron Rodgers was directly attached to that. So how much credit can you actually give him? Because he hasn't had that success multiple times. So for me, Mike McCarthy, there's still a very big question mark. Even after this game, there's a very big question mark for me if this is the coach that can take the Cowboys all the way. I'm still 100% sure, not 100%, I'm still 90% sure it's not him. It's not him.
That's tough to say because they go by paper a lot, right?
It's
if they
not
make
him.
the playoffs, if they win a division, if you win a division, it has to be him.
I mean, we've won the division multiple times with him. And last time I checked, we don't have another Lombardi. So
I agree. But
I think he's a good regular season coach. I think maybe he's good.
And that's the thing.
I think he's a good regular season coach. Maybe he's a good playoff coach. Can't really make that assessment because I haven't seen it. I just don't. When I think of a coach that can take you all the way, Mike McCarthy is not somebody that comes to mind like a Sean Payton is. And this is a bad example maybe right now because of with the Denver situation with Denver. But if Sean Payton was Mike McCarthy in Dallas, I'm 100% confident he can take us to the Super Bowl.
Hold on. What are we doing right now? Like, Ashley, I don't understand where you're coming from. You guys, you just won a game against the Chargers team that is a really, really solid team. Now, we need to, Brian, Mr. Producer, we need to have a discussion whether tomorrow or sometime at the end of the week about the Chargers. Okay, what's going on there? But everybody around the NFL looks at the Chargers as a solid team. B, you sat there yesterday and you said, okay, that the Chargers, you like this matchup. You said this was a tough matchup, a bad matchup for the Cowboys. So come on, it doesn't matter how it looks. A win is a win. When you're playing against really good teams, solid teams, you're just happy. That's why you saw Dak Prescott at the end saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. B, how many times have you done the same thing playing against the Denver Broncos when you got B Baby on the other side, Eddie Royal on the other side? y'all.
But I don't think we're not arguing that the win is not a win. I'm just thinking we're talking bigger picture.
Talking about, McCarthy, is he the guy or not? Well,
Brandon, just because we won, though, just because the Cowboys win, I say we because I suit up. You know what I mean? Just because the Cowboys won doesn't, and we're talking letter grade. B-Flow gave him a C minus.
A C,
just a C, flat C, because of Mike McCarthy. And we got on the topic because the whole point of the matter is for me, Mike McCarthy, what you see is what you get. And that I think that a lot of the times the Cowboys will be able to win in spite of him. I don't think they ever win because of him, if that makes sense.
Do you think this game, like how Brandon Marshall said, this solidified them and showed you they can be a NFC East contender? Do you think this game solidified that to you?
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, we're talking about Dallas, San Francisco, Philly, Detroit. Those are probably the top teams right now in the division. How big is the gap between those teams? I think that the way that the Cowboys bounced back from getting punched in the mouth in prime time is a testament of a really good football team. Now, did I see things that needed improvement? Yes, but what do we say all the time? Good teams win in spite of things not going perfect. The Dallas Cowboys, to me, showed in multiple ways that they are a good football team. So if we're talking the gap, I don't think when the Cowboys are playing at their best, I don't think the gap's that big.
I agree. I told you last week.
But I still think there's a gap. I just don't think it's an egregious gap.
I don't even really think it's a gap. I told you after the 49ers lost, the Cowboys isn't that bad off. It just so happened they played their worst ball when the 49ers played their best ball. The 49ers are going to have a couple more games like when they played Cleveland. Like, I'm sorry. That's just they have a favorable schedule. It's not even these first 6 games. The 49ers have a favorable schedule. And when playoff time comes, I don't know how they're going to respond because they're not going to have that much adversity during the season like the Cowboys, like the Lions, because people go still write the Lions off, but they're going to have to keep proving how good of a football team they are. Philly is in the NFC East. They're going to keep punching each other in the mouth, so they're going to have some adversity. So I don't think the gap is that.
And Philly has been a little bit.
They haven't been as efficient.
Even though they've been winning.
So I don't think it's a gap at all. I feel like all those teams are right there.
So, look, I'm going to go to basketball. All right, so you have the Bucks. You have the Bucks. You have the Miami Heat, and you have the Celtics. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys, they're the Miami Heat. Okay, are they really supposed to be in the finals? Is Jimmy Butler really that good?
What kind of comparison is this?
You asked the gap. That's the gap. It's between the Bucks, Giannis, and the Bucks. That feels right. They dominate. When Giannis is out there on the court and he's healthy, they dominate. They have an identity. You know what they do and you know what they don't do well, okay? The Miami Heat, the last 2 years, come on, like for real, the last 2-3 years, they're really that good. They find a way towards the end of the season to put it together. So the reason why I'm saying that is because right now, that gap exists because they don't know how to win. They're not expecting to win. You saw that reaction last night. So sometimes there's a game like that, or maybe it's a run that you go on where you're like, holy shit, like we're supposed to do this. We're supposed to be here. And so I think that's what's going to happen for Dallas. It started last night, but until then, there's definitely a gap between them and the San Francisco 49ers, them and the Philadelphia Eagles for sure, and the Detroit Lions.
That was not a good analogy.
It was.
Brandon.
I'm gonna tell you why though.
You know why that's not a good analogy? I'm gonna give you one reason. I'll let you take another one. First of all, the Miami Heat have an identity. Their identity always is defense. They break you down. That's their identity. That's what they always stick to. So even
I didn't
if
compare
shots,
the identities. I didn't
you
say
said
identities.
they didn't
that
have
was
an
the
identity.
I use that for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys don't have an identity. What I was talking about is, do we really think the Miami Heat? The Miami Heat are supposed to be in the finals. Nobody in the NBA world wanted to see that type of matchup.
But they've been
Ratings
to the
are
finals
down.
and
Nobody
Eastern
wants to see the
Conference
Miami
finals
Heat.
like back to back to back. Like,
This is why I don't agree with the comparison, right? So the Miami Heat, you look at a roster and you say they're not supposed to be in the finals. When you look at the Bucks, you say they built, like they finals ready. They built for the playoffs. The reason you made the pick for the Dallas Cowboys to represent the NFC is because you looked at their roster. And you said if they play ball, how they supposed to play ball, they should be in the finals. The only question we always have about Dallas is if McCarthy go get it done, if Jerry Jones go do something to kind of
never question Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, right. So you never question the roster.
Heat is never supposed to be in the finals without D Wade. Come on now, Jimmy Butler leading the way. Is he even top 15? He's not even top 15.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody expects the Heat to be in the finals, right?
What is happening right now? Jimmy Butler.
What is happening? Name it. This is not even a basketball discussion.
Hold on, time out a second.
If you want to make it a basketball
Jimmy
discussion,
Butler, who?
15.
Which Jimmy Butler are you referring to? It can't be the one down here.
Let's name the top 15 basketball players. And let's see if Jimmy Butler is in the top 15. You want to do that right now?
I would have to pull up a list of I don't know all the players.
So are you saying he's top 15?
Jimmy Butler?
Is he top 15?
No.
Jimmy Butler's not a top 15 player for you?
Nah, he's not top 15.
All right.
No, let's do it.
Okay.
Miss Ashley Nicole Moss.
Okay, we're going to sit here and say Jimmy Butler's not top 15?
No.
He's not.
He's not top 15.
Okay.
LeBron James.
Okay.
Kevin Durant. Okay. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kawhi Leonard. Yes, I say Kawhi Leonard. Stephon Curry. Dame Lillard. You got the Joker. You got Anthony Davis. You got Joel Embiid. You got Luka. You got Jason Tatum. You got Donovan Mitchell. You got Kyrie Irving. You got Karl Anthony Towns. That's the.
You putting Karl Anthony Towns over Jimmy Butler?
I put Booker in there though, B. I'll put Devin Booker in there.
I agree, but the list can continue to go on too.
All right, let's get back to football. Okay, let's get back. I just
really quick before we change gears, I got a question for you, Ashley. Why is Justin Herbert 27-28 through 4 years, the start of his career? He's supposed to be really good. I know you like the Chargers, but you don't like the coach. Mm-hmm. Why is Justin Herbert struggling?
I honestly, I think it's scheme. I think we've seen Justin Herbert in situations where the scheme is conducive to him and we've seen him shine and we've seen him win. I've said this when we were talking preseason. I said this when we were in training camp. I said this, preseason. Like I said, I don't think Coach Staley is the coach for the Chargers. I think that his decision-making is atrocious. I think his schemes are atrocious. I have never seen somebody just have an absolutely terrible conversion rate on fourth down like him. He is not the coach for this team. If they want to go ahead and salvage Justin Herbert's career, not saying that it needs salvaging. What I'm saying, if they want to go ahead and maximize these young years from him, this is not the coach that they need to do that. He is far too talented, and there's far too much talent around him for them to go ahead and lose the way that they lose consistently. We're not talking one-offs. We're not talking about, it happens every now and then. Every coach makes a bad decision. Every coach goes for it on fourth and it doesn't work out. That happens. We're talking about someone who consistently has this problem and consistently shoots their team in the foot in some way, shape, or form when it counts the most. He is not the coach, and if they want to salvage their season, if they want to go ahead and utilize their young quarterback, they need to fire him, and they need to do it, in the next hour. He's not the guy.
If he gets a better coach, he'll probably be better, and they'll be better, right?
The better coach right down the road in Lincoln Riley. You bring Lincoln in, you let him stay in California, you let him come right down the road. He's great with quarterbacks. He's going to have a scheme that's going to do their thing. Like, that's right down the road. So,
All right. I know I jumped off topic there. Just had to ask that question because we debated all the time about coaching and players. That's it.
All right. Well, listen, want to go ahead and real quickly dive into something else. Just quick read. You know what? Let's go ahead and skip this because, Brandon, I know you have to go. You are in Houston working on a project. So let's dive into some quick reads real quick. All right. Biggest winner of week 6. Now that week 6 of the NFL season is officially in the books, we need to know. Biggest winner. What's the biggest one? Who is the biggest winner for you? Or biggest winners if you have more than one?
The biggest winner is the Cowboys. They needed to get back on track. I don't think it was a must win, but this was a big win going into the bye week, right? They couldn't have 2 losses going into the bye week where they're thinking about it and the media get to compile them for a long 2 weeks.
I don't think it's the bye week yet.
It's not the bye week this week?
I think they play the Rams next, and then it's the bye, if I'm not
okay.
mistaken.
But this just still was a big win to get CD going, get them back on track. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
Jets, Jets. Oh, my goodness. Ashley Nicole Moss was in the building with the Tommy Hilfiger family. Opening night, Aaron Rodgers goes down with the 4th play. We didn't see anything. They won the offseason. They were going to be true contenders, but he goes down. Everybody thinks the game is over. We win against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. The game is over, right? No, we win. And then all of a sudden, we don't bounce back the right way. And now we're going into the bye at 3-3. The Jets are the biggest winners because the Jets won the offseason. Aaron Rodgers is Superman. He's walking. He's throwing the ball. He's helping out his teammates, and they stay alive. For them to still be alive, we got to go with the Jets. Everybody wants to see this comeback. Everybody wants to see Superman healed. That's the biggest winner through 6 weeks.
B-Flow is actually right. It is the bye week for Dallas. They come back, and then they play the Rams, and they play the Eagles. So I'm not going to be stressed out this weekend. So thanks for that information. I thought I had one more week of stress, but I don't. I get to chill for a week. When your team's on a bye, it's always so weird.
Yeah.
You know
it's like you're missing something. Like
I
you forgot your phone or something.
I'm just not invested in football that week as much as I should be.
Yeah.
But I'm also stress-free. Maybe I'll go to the beach or something like that and just decompress. But okay, biggest loser for week 6. Who you got?
I'm going with the 49ers. I mean, this loss to Cleveland was
going to be my pick too. So okay, go ahead.
I mean, this reminded me of the Dallas loss against Arizona. Like, you got to beat the teams that you should beat because I think it's going to be important in NFC to get that bye, and have that home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So they're the biggest losers to me.
Biggest loser. This is a tough one. You can go so many different ways.
The Denver Broncos.
I'm going with the Denver Broncos. That's actually the one I want to go with. I mean, and someone might look at this and say, "Come on, you could have done better here." But being in this situation before as a player, you look at it and we're still in position. We can turn our season around. We go out there Thursday night football. We try to bounce back. Defense bounce back, right? Can Russell Wilson and Coach Payton get this offense in the end zone? They did not do that, and now they're sitting at 1-5. And just like Dak Prescott said, 3-3 is totally different. 4-2 is totally different than 3-3. And sitting at 1-5, it just feels like you have no chance, no opportunities. A couple teams at the bottom of the barrel sitting at 1-5, and the Denver Broncos owns that. So they're the biggest losers in week 6.
I'm surprised nobody said the Patriots. They're also 1-5.
They're down there too. Yeah. They all out there hanging out. They all 1-5. Have you ever started 1-5, B? B, you ever started 1-5?
First 2 years in the league in Kansas City.
Y'all was trash.
Yeah, we was trash. We was trash.
Who was the head coach then? Was it Todd Haley?
So I had Herm. That was my first year, and then Todd came in after that. Yeah.
Did Coach Reed? Did he recite his favorite quote? We play to win the game. Did he say that?
Herm, yeah. Herm, my guy, though, man.
I think for me, biggest losers of week 6, I'm giving it to the Philadelphia Eagles since you gave it to the 49ers. I think that the way that the Eagles lost that game to the Jets just kind of exposed all the things that we have kind of been discussing, that although they've been finding ways to win, they haven't been playing the greatest of football, and it caught up to them in that situation. I think that it was very telling, not just that they lost, but how they lost. And I think that they have a lot of work to do in the film room if they want to get back to the Philadelphia Eagles team that we saw last year that was just so dominant. Just, a team that you were already talking about in week 6, they're going to the Super Bowl. Like, they're far away from that. So I would have to actually give it to, it's probably a toss-up between the Eagles and the 49ers, not because they're no longer perfect, just because they lost to 2 teams that on paper they should have beaten them and the way that they lost. So I have to give it to them. But speaking of the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, interesting story here involving the New York Jets. According to The Athletic, Aaron Rodgers actually wore a headset and offered play suggestions to the coaches during their win over the Eagles. Brandon, I wonder, B. Marsh, I'll give this to you since you're the former Jet. Should they just make Aaron Rodgers the offensive coordinator while he's out? Give him something to do.
No, he shouldn't be offensive coordinator, but he certainly should get co-offensive coordinator for sure. When you're a player that's played at this level, man, you've seen so much football. You felt so much football. And so your perspective on the game is a little bit different. Your feel for the game is a little bit different than some of these coaches who's never done it at this level. Okay, so like we saw it in preseason. He called a shot for Zach Wilson. Boom, let's go. It's open. They hit it. Everybody's cheering. He called those plays, right? And so I think that Aaron Rodgers not only being around but being more involved in the offense is definitely going to help everybody involved. So, yes, he should be a part of this.
Now, I feel you, B. And, like you mentioned, as a player, you get a feel of the game, right? You know what's going to happen before the opposing defense or offense do it. Like, when I'm on the defense side of the ball, I know when shots coming. And if coach call like a zero blitz, you like, don't you know what I know out here? Like, why are we in that? So the fact that Aaron Rodgers is on the sideline, he's engaged, because that goes a long way too. When the other players see a vet come back and he engaged, like they go play a little harder for him. So he put his quarterback in position and his team in position to do well. I think that shows what Robert Saleh got in New York, right? We always said they're going to be scrappy, but you see what they have,
That's
right.
a really good point. And Brandon and I actually had a debate about this when Aaron Rodgers was, I believe, in Malibu first getting his treatment or getting his surgery, rather. I said, Aaron Rodgers needs to be on the sidelines or just in the building for these games, especially with Zach Wilson, expecting the situation to go drastically different, him being behind Aaron Rodgers and kind of getting his footing again. And now it's the opposite situation. Now he's once again the leader of this football team. And Brandon was like, he's going to be in Malibu. He's not going to be there. What about his mental? I think him being here speaks volumes.
No, I didn't say that.
Brandon,
I did not say that. No,
you
I did not say that.
He's going to, why would he be there? It's cold. He's going to be in Malibu.
I said we don't know. I said we don't know. I said there's a chance that he can stay. In the past, there's vets that will stay there. And so now we're seeing him come back around. All right, these last 2 weeks, he's been in the building a few days. It's not been a lot, but he needs to be there if he wants this team to be in position, to get him in position to hand him the ball back. So don't put words in my mouth.
That's not what you said. We can pull the film. That's not what you said.
We can pull the film. It was a debate.
I'll have the film for you tomorrow.
All right.
But listen, all I'm saying is that
Ashley.
all I'm saying is that I think that it's a testament to him as a leader, but I also think it's a testament to him and turning over this new leaf. One of the things that we spoke about with Aaron Rodgers when he was in Green Bay, especially that last year, was his just complete disconnection from the organization. And because of that, his disconnection to that young receiving core, which is why I just feel like there wasn't that chemistry. He really has taken it upon himself to turn over a new leaf in New York, aka New Jersey. And I think that it's just going to be beneficial for this team. If he does come back, should he come back? No. But I think that it's just a good sign to have your leader on the sidelines while he's going through his, rehab and things like that.
He looked like he enjoyed it, right?
And he's happy. He looks like he enjoys being out there.
Genuinely enjoyed being out there. Everybody thought he was just trying too hard at the beginning. Like, when they was recording the locker room and the meetings before, and we was all saying they thought it was just a front, but nah. A-Rod really enjoys his teammates. He loved being there. Just the atmosphere in New York, New Jersey. He just
it's New Jersey, not New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Say it right. Brandon, last thoughts on this, because we know we got to let you go. You have a shoot to do. So any last thoughts on Aaron Rodgers being in the building?
Well, actually, I have 20 more minutes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we can go another 20
Okay.
minutes. That was a mistake because different time zones. So I was just looking at that myself. Um, no, I think this is a good thing, man. We definitely talked about this, Ashley. And you remember it a little differently than I do, but we talked about it, and so like this is what we're seeing when you have a guy like this around, right? And Robert Saleh talked about, it's not only the play calling, it's just his leadership, right? Like he's in position now to go to the wide receivers, a young Garrett Wilson who's struggling, who's frustrated, who wants the ball, who thought this was going to be his breakout year, but now it's not. He's back with Zach Wilson, who everybody said they didn't want last year, right? The wide receivers said they didn't want him. So he's able to go to those guys and say, look, this is the situation. Take a deep breath, calm down. We're going to get through this, right? This is what we got to deal with, okay? He's giving everybody hope. He's giving the defensive guys hope. He's obviously bringing in his personality, lighting up the mood, and vets know how to do that, right? When it's real tough and it's a lot of tension, how there's that one guy that can come in, say that one joke or crack a smile, and then everybody just takes a deep breath, and we get through the play, we get through the day.
Well, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, we're going to transition to this next Rodgers story because Robert Saleh, who has, always had high praise for Aaron Rodgers, had even more high praise for the quarterback. Again, this is about the possible return of Superman, as we called him earlier in the show. Take a listen to this.
His superpower is his presence. And him being in this building, being around his teammates, being in the locker room, his positive attitude, his thoughts of manifestation and all that stuff, I think it's powerful. And so obviously as a coach, of course, selfishly, I want him here every single day. I want him in every meeting. I want him on the practice field. I want him on the sideline. I want him in the locker room, selfishly, because he's an unbelievable human.
All right. Well, listen, we saw the video of Aaron Rodgers throwing without crutches. Brandon Flowers was not impressed. He said, last time I checked, he ain't tear his biceps. So there's that. Now, he also is essentially calling plays for Zach Wilson. Should we believe in the power of Rodgers to keep this team in the playoff hunt all season? B-Flow?
He got to stay around, right? Because he knows Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson can't go to the OC and say, listen, I like these calls. This is what we should do. They go say, hey, you haven't done enough here. Stick to what we're saying that we need to do, and that's how we go carry out the game plan. But Rodgers has that seniority. He has that chill vibe, that even keel vibe around him where he can be that mesh point in between Wilson and the OC when it comes to just getting Wilson in the right play call, doing what best fits Wilson in his game to propel this team to just get some wins. At the end of the day, B, you know how it is. It don't matter if you playing or you not playing. When you losing, everybody's dragging around the locker room, acting like they don't want to show up to me, and it's tough, right? But when you winning, I mean, you will want all your guys out there, but it doesn't matter who out there. As long as you winning, you have some pep in that locker room, some pep in your step. Like, you heal from your injuries faster. So I think it's vital that Rodgers stay around.
Yeah, we were struggling with the Miami Dolphins. It's funny that you bring that up, right? Like when you're losing, how tough it is and the tension that's in the locker room. And every once in a while, you guys may hear me say that, playing in, at the pro level in sports is one of the most toxic environments you can be in. You got to think about being in a multi-billion-dollar industry with multi-million-dollar athletes. We got athletes now signing $400, $500 million contracts. So your best is expected every single day. You can't have a terrible day, not only on the practice field, but even in film. If you start dozing off a little bit, that's a problem, right? They're always watching. Some coaches got cameras in the meeting rooms. So when you walk in that facility, you're always being graded on everything you say, everything you do. And so playing for the Dolphins, we started off 0-6, and it was so much tension. It was tough. And Carlos Dansby was a savvy vet, and he walked up to me, and he was like, bro, do you know the year that the Arizona Cardinals, when I was playing with the Cardinals with, Fitz and Kurt Warner, how we started and then how we finished the second half of the season, right? So, like, don't ever forget that. We're always in it. And when after that discussion, I had like the sense of peace. Now, it didn't change the season. We won a couple more games. We won some games, but like I felt better. I felt like, you know what? Let me take a deep breath, and it's not over. And that's what we needed to get through that moment. So, Aaron Rodgers being in the building is doing a lot for everyone involved because it was devastating seeing him go down in week 1.
So, I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? This team with Zach Wilson at the helm is obviously very different than what it would be with Aaron Rodgers. At least we can guess. We only had, about 75 seconds of a preview of that before Aaron Rodgers went down. Now, it's a very up and down team with Zach Wilson, like I said, being the head of the snake. Because of that, this is no longer a Super Bowl favorite. This is no longer a team that is really expected to do much in the postseason if they even get there. Let's say they're in the race. Let's say they're in the hunt. Let's say they even creep in by the grace of God. Crazier things have happened. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. Do you risk whatever short amount of time you have left in your career, whether it's a couple of more years, whether it's another year, to go ahead and come back for ultimately what's not really going to be much of anything? This is not a Super Bowl team right now. It's just not.
Yes.
Do you come back? B-Flow.
If I'm Aaron Rodgers and I feel okay to play, I think I will.
Also,
right?
Wait, another follow-up to that real quick. Do you think that a team that has been used to Zach Wilson all season is miraculously going to figure it out? Aaron Rodgers, you take Zach Wilson out of the equation, you put Aaron Rodgers in. Obviously, drastically different quarterback, much better quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback. It's still not the quarterback they've been playing with all season. And training camp will be a far long time in the back burner. Do you risk that?
Yeah, but any version of Aaron Rodgers is going to be better than Zach Wilson at the end of the day. And just him being back there and even trying to rally back to play, that's going to get his guys playing a little bit harder too. The only reason I'll say I will play if I'm Aaron Rodgers is because the AFC isn't what it used to be. Burrow and Cincinnati, they're not playing well. Buffalo Bills not playing well. Kansas City Chiefs, they winning games, but they're not playing well, Kelsey's banged up. The receivers on the outside for the Chiefs can't get separation. Like, this is the year to kind of make a run if you're in the AFC and you wasn't those top teams.
So what has changed your mind? Because yesterday you were against it, and now maybe. Did Brandon convince you to jump sides with him?
The key word in my answer was if I'm Aaron Rodgers. Now, if I'm the general manager, I'm still saying, nah, we're not risking you being hurt and you can't play next year. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers, yeah, I'll try to play. But if I'm the general manager, I still say we're not going to just throw our season away next year.
All right, Brandon, follow-up question for you. We're always talking about legacy, right? We're always talking about Bill Belichick's legacy. Is his legacy tarnished because of the situation with Mac Jones? Is it tarnished as a GM? Is it tarnished as a coach? We've been having that conversation, and I feel like legacy is always into question, whether we talk about LeBron, regardless of the sport. Aaron Rodgers, one of the knocks that have always been against him is he's only been to the Super Bowl once. Been to the Super Bowl once. And I say only in quotations because a lot of people don't even make it there. Sorry, Brandon, that wasn't a dig at you, but it was just saying. He does. He wasn't a dig. It wasn't a dig. He does really well in the regular season. He's had MVPs. We see that. But when it's time to actually go ahead and go all the way, there's something that has been in the way. Is it important, or how important is it to Rodgers' legacy to get that second championship?
Well, I think his legacy is it's already cemented, right? If he does find a way to make it to the Super Bowl, it definitely will. It will change the narrative around Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, he's like an enigma, right? Who is he? Is he a good teammate, bad teammate, right? Now he comes within a month, change that already, the conversation. So if he wins the Super Bowl, I think that it changed the narrative, but not necessarily his legacy. Because when I think about Aaron Rodgers, and I said the same thing, Ashley, I feel like they underachieved, underperformed in Green Bay. How the hell do you have Aaron Rodgers? How are you Aaron Rodgers and you only have one ring, right? So Aaron Rodgers, when I think about him, I think about like what Patrick Mahomes has done and what he's on the cusp of doing. The Tom Brady's, the Peyton Manning has two, he's supposed to be there. So one more for me, changes the conversation, the narrative, but it doesn't like really change his negative. He's going to go down as the best thrower of the football until Patrick Mahomes eclipses that. He's going to go down as one of the most talented ever to do it. And that's what it is.
But does it put him in a different tier? Because we talk about tiers all the time, how there's tiers
tier?
of quarterback, tiers of teams, right? You have obviously Brady, who's in his own tier. Then you have the guys who have multiple rings. Then you have guys like Rodgers and Russell Wilson who only have one ring. Does it put him in the same conversation as a Peyton, as an Eli, as a Patrick Mahomes? It doesn't, obviously, like I said, Brady's in his own category. But does it put him in that conversation? Is he still in that conversation, rather, if he doesn't win a second one?
I think he's still in that conversation if he don't win. Like you said, B, I think
you put him and Peyton in the same tier.
In the same tier. I think B hit on everything perfectly. Like, his career is cemented, right? Because he's only going to play 1 or 2 more years. The only thing he can change, like you said, B, is the narrative. And the only reason I do have him in the Peyton tier is because he still was at 37, 38, winning NFL MVP.
So what tier do you have Patrick Mahomes in right now? Tier 2?
He's up there. Patrick Mahomes is up there with Tom Brady. Like,
well, no, we can't put him with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's in a
yes,
tier of his own right now.
No. I know what you're saying, Ashley, but like I think about like Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's up here, you know, and that's Joe Montana's up there as well. You know, if we really want to get, you can look at John Elway and some of those other guys, but like there's the best of the best is Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and then we start talking about the next tier, and that's where Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the guys are for me.
I agree. I mean, I'm a Mahomes fan, Kansas City for sure, but if you just look at his body of work since he's been in the league, he's been to the AFC Championship game every year, right? And the only 2 losses he had was against Brady. Well, Burrow got him that one time, but I agree with you, B. It's hard to put him. I understand, Ash. It's hard to put him in Brady category because of what he's done.
Brady is like in a league of his own.
You're right, Ashley. Listen, you're right, but it's like he's like
we're talking just potential, not actually what has happened, right?
There's like the penthouse suite, the penthouse level, okay, and then there's one penthouse that has like a wraparound balcony. And they have an extra 5,000 square feet. Now y'all like, is this one good? Is this a good analogy? Is this one okay?
This is better. Go ahead.
Okay.
Here we go.
So, Tom Brady has that wraparound balcony, an extra 5,000 square feet, which means he paid an extra $10 million. So his penthouse went for $30 million. That's Tom Brady, excuse me. Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. It's a little bit smaller, beautiful views, but he paid around $22 million. They're still on the next level, but if you're someone going over there, you go up to that level like, damn, which one do I want? You want Tom Brady, but you can only afford Patrick Mahomes. They're still there. So hopefully that analogy was better for you guys.
Better.
And you like that one?
Let me ask you this, though,
Stick to real estate. That's your thing. That's your lane.
If he never wins, Patrick Mahomes never wins a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl, he's still in that category because you can't take him out and then put him back up.
That's
the
thing. But that's my whole thing. That's why I don't have him with Brady.
So how many Super Bowls has he been to? Is it 3?
He's won 2.
He's won 2. So listen, yes, I'll keep him there. I'll keep him there because he's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady together. He has Tom Brady's mindset, but he has Aaron Rodgers' flair. Okay, so like I'll keep him there because it's like it would be like a Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson, we still talk about him as one of the best running backs ever, one of the best players ever. But how many years did he play? How many yards does he really have, right? But he made such a huge impact on the game in that short time. Even the Gale Sayers of the world, they made such a huge impact on the game in that short amount of time that they're forever talked about. They're cemented in the best of the best when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So then where do you put a quarterback? So where do you put a quarterback like Dan Marino?
Dan Marino, you know what, Ashley, I'll probably need more time to break that down. Dan Marino revolutionized the quarterback position. Like he really did. We talk about airing it out before everybody was airing it out and being Mr. Efficient, you know, so he did a lot of the things first, but he never won it. So Dan Marino, for me, he's right there with like the Drew Breeses. That's that second tier, for sure. Second tier, but like that's like Drew Brees. It's like, damn, y'all could have got a little bit more.
Brian, if you're listening, I know you are. We got to do this tomorrow. Wednesday's always a weird day when it comes to football. It's like the middle of the week. It's my favorite day. It's hump day. We got to do like tier 1, tier 2 quarterbacks and compare these lists.
That'll be
we
good.
got to go ahead and do like who's our tier 1, our 10 in tier 1, 10 in tier 2, and compare that list because I feel like this
10
is
in tier 1.
Okay, whatever number. I'm just because it's a very interesting
5.
conversation about how like you start looking at things outside of Super Bowls when you talk about overall tiers, because if to say that Brady is a tier 1 and then you put a Dan Marino in a tier 1, when you on paper it's like, how the hell is this possible? You know what I mean? So we should definitely do that as a segment. Tier 1 versus tier 2 quarterbacks, like of all time.
Right now, off the top, and I'll be quick here, there's only 3 guys. There's definitely more, but like that penthouse level, Ashley, it's Tom Brady, it's Patrick Mahomes, there's Joe Montana, and we'll find maybe 2 to 3 more. Maybe that's penthouse.
So it's
ready.
penthouse, and then what's the apartment after that? Is it like a duplex? Or?
Yeah. Those are really nice as well. Those are like you bought 2 units and you knocked the wall down, put them together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, look, real estate is Brandon's analogy lane. You know what I mean? This is where he shines. He starts doing NBA crossovers to work. Real estate is your lane, Brandon. That's where you got to stick.
I can't believe y'all tried me with the Miami Heat one. That was
terrible
so
analogy.
good.
Terrible analogy.
Yeah, you was reaching on that.
Yeah. Real estate's your lane. Everything you do from now on needs to be compared to real estate in some way, shape, or form. That is how you will shine. And that's how you will go ahead and get these analogies exactly where you need them. Just make sure it's in the real estate lane. Like this is a ranch. This is a colonial. This is a mansion. This is a penthouse. This is a shack. Like this is where you shine. This is your lane. Brandon, I know that we gotta let you go soon. Can you?
And you're happy about it too. Ashley act like, oh, like she said, she's like, yeah, go beat it, go get off the show.
I'm not kidding. Is it possible for you to like give us a little sneak peek of what you're working on? Are you allowed to tell us what you're out there doing? Is it something fun? Like what's going on?
Yeah, we're following 3 NFL players throughout the season. So different parts, obviously, of the country. That's all I can give right now. It's nothing. It's something light, but it's cool. It's something that I'm really excited about. You know, when you get these opportunity to produce different things, to create different things. So it's cool to see some of our players in a different light. You know, and we always try to do that, humanize our guys. You know, tell the stories from the other angle. You know, obviously we talk a lot of sports on paper route, but there's so much that we're doing. Ashley, you're doing something big next week.
No, this weekend.
Oh, it's this weekend. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like those are the things that for me personally, that's what I enjoy the most is being on the go. So
the chat wants to know, are you kidnapped? Blink if you're okay. They said it looks like you're being held hostage. They want to just make sure you're okay. So if you need help,
no, I'm
blink.
good. I'm good. Hey, listen, I was one of those kids. That my mom would always say, you kidnap this one, you're going to bring his ass back quick.
My mom used to say the same thing about me. If I ever got kidnapped, they would bring me right back.
Hey, B, if they kidnap B would turn it to, they'll be like, man, he's so nice.
Yeah, he cool. Like, I can vibe with B. And I'll be weird enough to be like, where we going, bro? Where we going next? This kind of dope.
B, what's your nickname? I was thinking about this earlier in the show. I saw Brian put the rundown together, and it was like, all right, Brandon, and then they said B-Flow, then Ashley.
I got too many nicknames, bro. It's wherever I'm at, like, in my part of life. Like, my hometown got a nickname for me. My college got a nickname for me. My league boys I got too many. So whatever you want to go with,
when I was on radio, they used to call me Ash Cash.
Ash Cash?
Mm-hmm. That was my radio.
Where the Ash Cash name came from, though?
They just gave it to me. I have no idea.
All right.
Because I guess I was about my money. I have no idea. I hated that nickname, by the way. Listen, Brandon, we're gonna let you go, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good shoot. You guys don't move because we will be right back after this break.
Love.
So when I first got in the league, when I was in Denver, we had all these. DJ Williams used to be on the show. He was the one passing around the Vialis.
Cialis and
Cialis.
That's different.
Whatever it's called, Cialis, Vialis. But we wasn't doing Viagra. So what happens is they was passing them out before the game, and we was taking them because when it thins out your blood, energy, and you go longer.
I'm not talking about Cialis, and I'm talking about actual surgery.
Oh, what you saying?
Yeah, like enlargement.
Yeah,
surgery.
that's what I'm talking about, enlargement.
People be really doing that.
Yes.
I ain't never heard. I don't know nothing about that.
No, see, y'all, listen. Y'all talking about something that's gonna keep you right for 36 hours.
Yeah. No,
Nah, it's my taking that shit, they can be that way forever.
Oh my God. In the league?
That's how you get suspended.
NBA?
That's how you get suspended.
People do that in the NBA?
I'm sure
Y'all
I'm
6'7",
sure people do that
6'8",
across
I
the
thought
world.
like.
What does that have to do with anything?
Is that a pause?
That's a major pause.
I'm just saying.
That's major.
I never heard of that.
That was kind
He
of
said
OD.
the shoe size and
That
that size
was
are
kinda
not
OD.
clicking.
Ain't no OD.
Let's skip that
Ain't
part
no
right
OD.
there.
You heard he said I'm corny. I'm corny.
Let's get back to the basketball.
I'm secure in my manhood. Tell me I'm sorry.
Don't have surgery.
This is really happening right now?
Brandon. Like what? Yes.
Bro, let me tell you. Ain't nobody getting suspended for taking Cialis.
But what's the problem? But okay, let's say they doing that. What you say they doing it. What's wrong with that? Why they gotta be suspended over that? If they feel like they need to be.
Because it has something in there.
Yes.
It has a steroid
That
in there.
Ingredient. in
Same
it.
way
It's
if
a
you
steroid
take a
ingredient.
Okay.
a steroid.
Okay.
test.
It's no different than in the NFL. I forget the player, but there was a player who was
I can't
trying
think of their names.
to conceive with his wife, and she was going through, I want to say, in vitro, and she was going through the fertilization of her eggs, and he was on medication to, I think, increase his testosterone. Wasn't doing it to increase his performance. It was to have a baby, and he got suspended because the ingredient in there still comes up in a test.
You remember what Eddie Murphy said on Golden Child?
What he
They
say?
tried to sell him that stuff to help keep the yang up. What that boy say? Ain't nothing wrong with my yang.
Are you the best defensive player, or are you the best player to ever play football?
I'm not saying I'm the best player to ever play football.
What about
But
defense?
am I the best defensive player? Okay. If not, who?
Brandon?
Reggie White.
Reggie White's a great player, and I put him up there in the same class as myself. Every time I walk into a room, or I pick up a paper or something, it's LT. Hey, I see an article. They talk about all these people, and then always at the last, my name always shows up in the last sentence of the last paragraph, just before they say greatest of all time. Okay.
Hey, do you think you could have played in this era?
Yeah, if I didn't want a paycheck, yeah. Kick me out of the game every week. Now, but yeah, I can play in an era. I think I can. I mean, I am rugged enough to play in this era. I don't know. That's a hard question, man.
Could you have cleaned your game up though? The violence, the
It was
aggression.
clean. That was clean as I could get it. I was clean.
Then you can't play in
Yeah,
this era. then.
it might be a problem. I may have to play a different position. Maybe have to move to the inside, where it was a little easier.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. So Brandon has left us to go ahead and handle some business in H-Town, but no worries because me and B-Floor are going to hold it down as usual. Listen, we're going to dive into the daily route and talk about the Cheetahs' monster season so far. Now, Tyreek Hill has over 800 yards receiving in just 6 games, 6 touchdown catches, and is the most dangerous weapon on the best offense in football. I feel like that's a safe thing to say,
safe
right?
analogy to
Best
say.
offense in football. But the real question is does he deserve the MVP through the first? Has he shown that he deserves the MVP through the first 6 weeks? Now, Shannon Sharp thinks so. Take a listen to this.
Football. He is the most dangerous man, regardless of position. That man, number 10, 5'8", 195 pounds, strikes more fear in the heart of opposing coaches than any current player because of that speed and his ability to break the game open at any moment. Give me Tyreek Hill.
Hi, sorry, we were talking about earpieces and things like that. Welcome, live show. All right, first and foremost, Shannon, Uncle Shay Shay. I don't know who did your makeup, but as a girl, as a makeup connoisseur, They did you dirty, my guy. You look like Blade meets Dracula meets like every black vampire in the 80s. That is crazy. Why does he look like that?
He had to see that going out there too. You seen that going out there.
The darkened joint, right? What was it called? A goatee?
Yeah.
I don't even know what this with the white foundation and the dark eyeliner. It looked like Uncle Shay Shay. You gotta do better, Unc. Not a good look, Uncle Shay Shay. Not a good look. But regarding what he said, I mean, the MVP is an award that we normally see go to quarterbacks. I feel like that's, a safe general assessment of the award, a generalization of the award. But I feel like there have been so many players in other positions that are deserving of this award that we never actually have seen won it. Could Tyreek Hill kind of break the trajectory of the direction that the award's been heading?
I mean, everything he's shown so far is like, I think he's the clear-cut favorite. When you got 800 receiving yards throughout 6 weeks, that's insane. Most top receivers have 1,000. Like, we brag about receivers getting 1,000 yards a season. Mm-hmm. For him to have it in 6 weeks, I mean, everybody talked when he got there, the pair of him and Jalen Waddle, how much speed they'll bring to the game, and you almost forgot about Jalen Waddle. That's how much he's been taking over in the way Tua's been feeding him. So I think he's the clear-cut favorite right now. I love the way Mike McDaniels has been feeding him the ball and making sure he get his touches like a head coach and a play caller should do. And I think it's going to continue throughout the season. He has the type of speed and the type of – he scares you so much on the defense side of the ball where you don't even want to double him because you still might not stop him. So you open up more holes in your defense. So he's a guy that you just hope is off that day. Right. He don't feel like that playing that day to stop him.
Before I give my take, BC, the chat, the fans would like to see the video of Uncle Shay Shay one more time, or like I say, Blade the Vampire. So can we run that for them one more time and just give them a little treat? I think a lot of people want to see the makeup. There we go.
He is the most dangerous man, regardless of position. That man, number 10, 5'8", 195 pounds, strikes more fear in the heart of opposing coaches than any current player because of that speed and his ability to break the game open at any moment. Give me Tyreek Hill.
He's striking fear in all of us. I want to suck your blood. Listen, it's very much on par for Halloween, but Uncle Shay Shay, we got to do better. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Tyreek Hill is the most dangerous weapon that Tua has, the most important weapon that Tua has. The real question is though, we've seen him with two great quarterbacks. One obviously in a different tier than the other. We were talking about tiers before the break. Patrick Mahomes in a tier drastically different than Tua, but both still really, really good quarterbacks, top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, safe to say. I think we can agree with that, right? Who was he better with? Don't be biased.
It's
I know you're a cheat.
almost insane to say one of the best receivers, one of the most explosive receivers to ever play the game, and one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game are not the best tandem or duo. But the realization is
he did have, and he also always had who? Travis
Kelce, and that's what I was going to get to. When he was in Kansas City, they didn't treat him like the first option, right? It was always Kelce. And then when they needed something big, they went to Tyreek Hill. Even when they needed a money down play, they go back to Kelce. So he was more on a back burner, even though he was so explosive. Now he's the primary. Yeah, he's the number one option.
He's essentially Travis Kelce.
Exactly. So that's why you see him doing more damage in Miami. So I have to agree and say he's more dangerous with Tua just because he's a main focal point. And Tua's going to make sure, and Mike McDaniels are going to make sure he touched the ball. Even if they got to hand him the ball in the backfield, he go get his touches.
I mean, listen, we know his speed. We've seen it. It's unreal. It's video game-like. It's if you had to go ahead and just create your perfect player in terms of speed, agility, it would be Tyreek Hill. So as a former defensive back, I mean, what makes him so difficult to defend? I mean, obviously the obvious in terms of his speed, but there's more layers to him than that.
So it's a mental thing, right? Mm-hmm. So initially you'll think, I'm not going to bump and run. I'm not giving up the big play. But when you play off, he can still run by you. Or if you be too soft in coverage, they can throw a quick slant. And you've seen him take those for 70-yard touchdowns every week, every game. So it's like, how do you play him? And then as soon as you come up to press, your coach look at you like, why are you giving up the big play when you physically can't run stride for stride with this guy? So it's almost mentally, how do you play this guy? And because you're a cornerback, and if you're out there thinking that you can't cover a guy, you dead in the water.
Right.
So until a defense or a coordinator shows like you can completely take him out of the game, he's going to continue to do this for the rest of his career.
I mean, it's just crazy to see how he just continues to get better. I think that a lot of people, there were a lot of question marks. I mean, leaving Kansas City, going to the Miami Dolphins, there were question marks about Tua. There were question marks about the organization, obviously the whole Brian Flores saga, things like that. Questions about Mike McDaniel. Who is this kid, essentially? He was on nobody's radar when it came to just being a head coach. But the Miami Dolphins, I feel like, are a perfect example of, you know, we talk about this in the NBA all the time. You can't just build a championship team. You can't cheat the system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that the Miami Dolphins are a great example of this because they went through seasons of just rebuild, seasons of mediocrity, sometimes less than mediocrity, and now they're reaping the benefits of it. The chemistry of this team is crazy. The depth of this team is crazy.
That's going to be important.
The talent of this team is crazy. Mike McDaniel not only is a good coach, but he's a player's coach. And I think people underestimate or throw that term around so loosely, player's coach, player's coach, player's coach. But it makes such a difference when the guys in the locker room truly respect what you're doing, what you're saying, and more importantly, we see him go to bat for these guys. So if there is animosity at times in that locker room, you never know it because Mike McDaniel will lay on the sword before he blames one of his guys. And I think as a player, that's so appreciated because a lot of the times you don't feel that, I guess, protection and you don't feel that bubble from organizations, from head coaches. And relating it to basketball, a team that I think does this really well is a fellow Miami team, the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat treat that organization like the mafia. It's basically, if you're not in the family, you don't need to know. And as somebody who, when I was on sports radio, used to cover the team, even reporters, beat reporters in the Miami area, you don't know all the ins and outs of the organization. That's how Pat Riley designed it because that keeps all of the outside noise out of this locker room. When when Jimmy Butler and Coach Spo got into it on the sideline and they asked every single player, like, what happened? They were like, what do you mean what happened? What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about? I didn't see anything.
Limited
distraction.
I didn't see nothing. What you talking about?
That's exactly how this Miami Dolphins organization is run.
And this offense just have more confidence. Even it's crazy to say Tyreek Hill needed more confidence, right? But he looks like he's playing with more confidence.
Miami will do that to you. It's Miami, Kansas City.
Yeah. He might be getting off a yacht, coming straight to practice.
Right. We see him fishing often.
Yeah. So, but no, everyone, like Mostert, the running backs, the offensive line look more confident. It's just
Tua looks more confident.
Everyone in this. On this offensive side of the ball specifically, they look more confident. Even when Tyreek Hill isn't getting the ball, he's celebrating with his other receivers like, look, it's y'all time today. Y'all go open it up. It's going to come back to me.
Right.
Like, this team just believes, right? And they buy in, like you said, to Mike McDaniels. It's just not like he's coming in, he's a player coach, he's cool. It's like, no, we trust just what he's bringing to the game schematic-wise. Like, whatever he says, we're going to believe in. And if he tells me I'm not going to have any catches this game, it's cool because I'm going to have 10 next week.
Right.
So this is what makes this team that much more dangerous. We look at Tyreek Hill numbers, and we say this offense is all Tyreek Hill. But no, if you look at the running backs, they're playing well.
So much talent to pass around to that football.
Waddle still's going to get going.
It's insane.
You still got,
it's insane. Honestly,
we got so many guys that still haven't fluidly got and hitting their strides in this offense. And that might come right before the playoffs when they need to get hot. So,
I mean, listen, when we talk about the best weapons in the NFL, let's just go ahead and speak offensively. We're not going to go ahead and jump the other side of the ball. Just best offensive weapons. You think Travis Kelce, you think AJ Brown, you think Keenan Allen, you think Mike Evans, you think Justin Jefferson, you think certain names. So where does Tyreek Hill, how big is that gap between Tyreek Hill and the best weapons in the NFL?
I always say he's the top of the list, even when he was in Kansas City and 3 years ago, and people always had Devontae Adams ahead of him. They had Chase when Chase came in ahead of him, but I'm like, those guys, by the top guys, can battle week in, week out, and it might be a good matchup, and the defender might win. I honestly haven't seen a cornerback since Tyreek Hill's been in the NFL, a cornerback play him one-on-one the whole game and win that matchup. Like, it hasn't happened. just in Kansas City, again, they didn't feed him the ball enough. So you didn't see him being as explosive as you should. Even now, they still not going to let defenders play him one-on-one. And that's why the running game has been so good. They always put a safety over top. You got a light box. So now when they're rushing the ball for 150 to 200 yards a game, now a team has to pick their poison. So
would you say top 5?
With Tyreek Hill being the most?
If we're going to go best offensive weapons in the NFL. Top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20. Where does he fall?
Number 1. He's number
Number 1?
He's number 1. It's no other weapon. And then Kelsey is a close number 2. Kelsey is a close number 2.
I could see
just
someone
because him and
making
Mahomes' chemistry, right? You
sure.
hear them talk about their chemistry, and you hear Kelsey don't even run routes. He just has that chemistry with Mahomes. The only reason I put Tyreek Hill above Kelsey is because faster speed, and he's more explosive. He can score from 80 yards in a blink of an eye. Kelsey go kill you slowly. He go keep getting first down after first down, which wears down your defense. So just because Hill more explosive, that's why he has that number 1.
Somebody in the chat said Brandon Flowers would lock up Tyreek Hill.
I mean, I talk that talk now that I don't got to face him. Like, I like that matchup any day of the week. Now that I don't got to face him. So let's go with it.
All right, so you can talk about it because you don't actually got to do it.
I ain't got to line up on the field. Let's
tomato. Listen. We're going to dive into some more quick reads now. Listen, Justin Fields gone for a while. That's not good if you're a Chicago Bears fan. Bears down, all the way down. Bears head coach told reporters Monday that Justin Fields is doubtful to face the Raiders in Week 7 because of that injured right hand. Brandon's going to be mad he's missing this conversation, but I mean, let's dive into it. How much longer QB1 for the Chicago Bears? Justin Fields, this relationship.
We hit on this yesterday.
For divorce? What's going on?
We hit on this yesterday, and this is the worst time that he can get hurt, right?
Worst time.
Because you would like to see, if he going to be the QB1, that he figures this out and gets himself out of this hole and he creates some magic like he did last year when it's like they might not be winning, but Justin Fields is balling, right?
And it's a very what have you done for me lately league.
Exactly. So the fact that he came out publicly, and I don't have a problem with what he said, but when he mentioned the coach might be the problem, that left a sour taste in their mouth. But I honestly think Justin Fields needs this. He needs to just take a step back. He don't have to go on the field. He can woo-saw, just be in meetings, check out the game plan, sit on the side. Let me see what the OC sees live action, live game time, so I can come back when I do come and try to be even more efficient and then just try to get a grasp of what is he trying to accomplish. Because OCs in the NFL are weird. They might not try to score every play. Some like, no, we just want to keep getting first downs. And if we get to the red zone, let's convert. So methodically, everyone doesn't have the same vision. So maybe this might be the best thing for them, just to sit back and let me see what y'all see, and maybe I can come back better.
I mean, it's a weird situation to be in, because if the Bears were winning, and you still had uncertainty about Justin Fields, how much are we winning because of him, and you removed him from the equation, and then you just go downhill, it's Justin Fields. But because you're 1-5, or whatever their record is right now, because you have a losing record, if you bring a backup quarterback in, and let's say you do slightly better, you start winning a couple of games here and there, depending on how long he's out. Right now it's week 7, but it could be longer is what the report said. And you start winning a couple games here or there, now your wheels start turning. If you're a front office, if you're a general manager, if you're ownership, now you're like, the math ain't mathin'. We weren't winning. Now we're kind of winning. What does this quarterback have that this one doesn't? That's not to say that the backup's going to take his job.
Yeah.
But it does start to make you wonder, again, playing devil's advocate, it does start to make you wonder if there's another quarterback out there that has aspects of the quarterback you're currently winning games with that your main guy doesn't have, and if this is the long-term relationship for you. That's the only tricky part about it, is because right now, their only way you can go is up. They're bad.
Yeah.
You can't get worse. You can only go up. So that's where the waters get a little bit muddy.
And that's the thing about losing in the league. You analyze every little thing.
Yep.
Like what we're doing with the Eagles right now. Nobody talking about Hurts turnovers until they lost that game, right? But, man, the Chicago Bears, it can go that way, but for Justin, the ball, the cap, the TI side sit. We're trying to fix this right now.
Is it gonna go?
But with Justin Fields, right, he has to just semi-hope. You never hope your team do bad, right? But you want to hope, like, this is exactly what I was saying. I don't get protected.
You don't want them to do bad, but you don't want them to do better without you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of got that as an athlete where it's like, trying
Right.
to tell y'all,
Right,
receivers
right.
not running their routes hard.
Right.
That's why my
I
time and
told
look
y'all
off.
it wasn't a me problem.
I only
It was
get
a
2.5
them problem.
seconds back here trying
For
to throw the
sure.
ball. Like, yeah, y'all see what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like,
For sure.
nobody can work with this. So give me something I can work with,
Right.
and then I can be successful. Because B mentioned he had some efficient games this year.
Right.
So we'll see if this is going to be a gift or a curse.
Well, from one quarterback saga to another, we're going to go to the Colts for a second because Jim Irsay said Monday that his quarterback, rookie Anthony Richardson, is probably done for the season. Now, he could have surgery on his injured shoulder within the next week. Now, given the way that Richardson plays with such physicality, do you think that this injury is going to change the way he plays? Again, he is a rookie. He's young. So usually that doesn't really change the way a young quarterback plays. If he had a couple of more years under his belt and he was more of a vet, closer to 30, probably would change it. I personally don't think it's going to change the way he plays his game, but the Colts should take a page from the Andrew Luck saga and get this man more protection. Because if Andrew Luck had gotten the offensive line that he needed, his career would not have been cut short as it was. And the Colts, I believe, may have gotten to a conference championship or even possibly the Super Bowl. Andrew Luck was that good.
Now, I agree with they have to protect him. But I honestly think this might change the way he approached the game. Because
I hope not. That would be terrible.
A coach can always tell you, like, yo, stop taking these hits, throw the ball away, get it out your hands quick. Even when you scrambling, like, make sure you slide. And as an athlete, you're like, nah, like, this is what I do. But with him being injured, him being hurt, his first year sitting on the sideline, not being with his guys, Gardner Minshew go be streaky. He go win some games. He go see how the whole morale, like, just rallies around Minshew. He's going to be like, I'm not missing no more games. Like, I'm going to come out here. I'm going to watch on the sideline, see what I need to do mentally, and I am going to have to change my game. I wish he would have had a chance to play with Jonathan Taylor, and he sees, like, no, when we need someone to run the ball, this is who I give it to, right? So I think he's just going to sit back and analyze, like, use my running back, use my weapons, and mentally he's going to be better, but he's going to see. Luck got banged up. RG3 had a hell of a outing when he was playing, but he got banged up because he got hit too many times. So the proof is in the pudding.
I know people will say, well, your offensive line can only do so much if your quarterback's constantly running. Fair, but if we're on the other side of that argument, your quarterback doesn't have to run as much if he has protection in his offensive line so he can get a pass off in the pocket. It's a double-edged sword. So while, yes, Anthony Richardson is putting himself at liability to take more hits, you kind of don't have an option when you don't have enough time to go ahead and get a pass off in the pocket because you're getting hit every which way from Sunday. So that's why if you go ahead and give him the offensive line he needs, the offensive line that Andrew Luck should have had, then what you go ahead and you, by byproduct, you automatically limit the amount of time he runs the ball or feels like he has to run the ball to get a playoff. And not only do you keep him healthy, but you also can possibly extend his career, which was one of the reasons why having Jonathan Taylor back, and obviously the timing was horrendous because JT's coming in, Anthony Richardson's going out. But having JT in the lineup is so instrumental because having that run game takes that pressure off your quarterback. And those first 4 games when that wasn't there, what happened? Concussion protocol. And now out for the season. This is exactly why you have to pay your running back when you have a rookie quarterback, especially.
And I think they have the guys in the offense that realizes that, right? The head coach Shane, who came from Philly last year. Last year, Jalen Hurts was airing the ball out downfield. Why was he able to do that? Because Philly had a great O-line. Before that, he was in San Diego and LA with the Chargers with Phillip Rivers. Everybody know Phillip hang on to the ball so the receivers can get open downfield. So they have the guys in the house to know how important the offensive line is. This is first year over here. So I'm pretty sure free agency and in the draft this year, they go for sure short this line.
Run the money, Jim Irsay. I know you got it. Stop being cheap. All right, listen. Patriots fans, this one's for you because should Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft get on their hands and knees and beg for Brady to come back? Because while Brady's been enjoying life in the 305, he was photographed on his yacht the other day his $6 million yacht the other day, might I add. $6 million. That's a super yacht right there. This is the team that he led to 6 Super Bowl titles, and right now they are free falling at 1-5. So should Robert Kraft try to, hey Brady, I know you got some free time. I don't know if you want to come, just hang out.
he got to stop spinning the block, man. Let Brady
stop
go.
Stop spinning the block. The X don't want you no more.
Yeah, like let it go. Like Mac Jones is who you with now. Y'all got to figure it out. Y'all have to give him a chance to be successful.
This is the perfect story of like you leave your long-term relationship for, the 20. It's the 80-20 rule, right? You leave the 80. There he goes. You leave the 80 for the 20. And then you realize the 20 ain't the 20% your 80 was lacking is a lot different than the 80% your 20 is lacking. So the grass ain't always greener on the other side.
Yeah, so they just got to deal with what they have now. And I think it's even too early to move on from Mac. Like people might think I'm crazy and be like, Mac ain't showing nothing. I mean, I honestly still believe that the coordinator, like they didn't show him, they didn't put him in position to win. Before you get rid of your first-round quarterback, you have to give him a signal caller, an OC that fits him and give him a chance to win. Because Belichick is only going to coach for a few more years, I feel. So you can't have a new head coach come in. Well, that's what they might try to do. Have a new head coach come in, new quarterback. We know how that goes. So, I mean, I feel bad for Matt because everybody has different situations that they fall into. Like, Trevor Lawrence got a chance to end up, he had Urban Meyer at first, but now he got Doug Peterson. He got that guy in Doug Peterson that he trusts and go call a good game for him. Mac in the same draft class is just like, I can't buy a break over here.
I don't know. You guys already know how I feel about Mac Jones. I do not think he's that guy. What is that British meme? I don't think you have the facilities for that big man. But speaking of the Patriots, Belichick out, maybe? Former Patriot and Super Bowl champion Teddy Bruschi thinks that Bill Belichick should call it quits after this season. Yes, retire from coaching completely. Is that an overreaction, or does Bruschi, make a point?
Nah, that's a great point. You see the writing on the wall. Do you see New England being like a contender in the next 4 years? Like, at all?
It depends. Can they tank for like a Caleb?
I still think
you get Caleb. I mean, stop it. Caleb would totally play for Bill Belichick. As a rookie, you go to New England and play for Bill Belichick.
This is the Bill Belichick that had Matt Patricia as his OC. Like, I don't even want Caleb to go there. So my thing is
playing devil's advocate here, but I mean that's better than going to Arizona. That's a better organization to go for right now than Arizona. Absolutely.
I don't know. I think Bill Belichick needs to see the writing on the wall. See, the GM Bill Belichick hasn't been having a great track record because he's not going to bring a GM to make all the decisions to have that franchise turn around, right? He's just going to keep betting on himself. And how many times we've seen players and coaches stay a little too long, right? Like, players always stay a year or two when they fall off that horse when they could have rolled out gracefully. You don't want Bill Belichick to come back and have 3 2-win seasons, and then now he's going into the fairway, right? That's not, you don't see Bill Belichick doing that. Like, Belichick and Saban, I want them to go out on top. This is as much on top.
I mean, he's not going out on top anyway if he were to leave after this season.
But it's not as bad as we have.
He going out on a loss.
It's not as bad as we have 3 more consistent years of losing, right?
I think Bill Belichick, the GM, may be washed, but I think Bill Belichick, the coach, you get him a quarterback that is not Mac Jones. Sorry, I understand what Mac Jones did at Bama. This is not college. This is the NFL. Like, let's be honest.
Okay, I give you that.
You get a really, really good athletic quarterback and one wide receiver, one consistent option for him. I think you have a more successful season than you're having now.
But now you're banking on Bill Belichick to bring these guys in. He has that Jerry Jones syndrome where it's like, I don't care what my organization is. Like, I'm going to be the one in control. I'm going to make all these decisions, and we go work with it. So just the GM Bill Belichick, that's the one that's like blocking my whole brain and thought process.
Yeah, GM Bill Belichick may legit be cooked.
Yeah, so I think that's what's blocking me from thinking this franchise will be successful. So I agree with Brewski, Teddy Brewski.
We'll see. Listen, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, but do not move because coming up, it's our Yo Rookie segment, and we got a special guest stopping by. We'll see you in a bit.
Can you tell them what green light means?
Oh yeah, when the green light come on, it's time to go, man. It's time to go. I actually, that was my name.
You smell me?
They called you green light?
Yeah.
I learned all this shit from him. Him and Beach, oh my God.
The girls in the back.
We can talk for hours.
Green light here.
Hey, green light.
By the way, it's a song.
Hold on, let me explain
It's a song
this
on the Best of Both
Let
Worlds.
me explain this though, because this is.
It's a song on Best of Both Worlds that called the Green Light. You don't know that song?
Oh, yeah,
Green
okay.
light.
Yeah.
Every time I go in Magic City, that song come on.
Huh?
I make sure the DJ play it. I spend about 15, 16, 20,000.
On the song?
One song.
Yeah, on that song. Like that's the time to go. It's time to go.
And you gotta realize, I'm a young. I'm
young. In 3 hours in the strip club.
But I'm young, bro.
Yeah,
I'm young.
No,
I spent more than 5,000.
I ain't even throwing my money.
I ain't going on one song though.
Pac and Tish had to teach me how to throw money a couple months ago.
Listen, I
ain't know how to do it.
I spent $10,000 every Monday night for 10 years straight.
Come on, and I matched you too. That's no cap.
Say that again?
I spent $10,000
every
Monday night in Magic City
bullshit.
for 10 years straight. No bullshit.
No bullshit,
for
bro.
10 years straight.
4.8.
Was it worth it?
Hell yeah.
That's a great question too. My financial advisor will be on my line. Shady McCoy. I mean, listen, if you want to be broke, keep doing that. You know how they talk to you.
I mean, for me, yeah, it was worth it because it was a cultural movement. It wasn't even about the dances per se. It wasn't about me being this horny guy that wanted to see naked women, right? It wasn't about that. It was just about the actual cultural movement of what was actually happening.
But I also played for Pete, so I know.
So you feel, I mean, you know what, at the end of the day, bruh,
no, but
a nigga, we is.
First
hold
and
on.
goal.
So that's
Don't paint the picture for
No.
me.
So that's
first and goal with beast mode in the Super Bowl.
Hold on, he didn't get the ball.
And we throw a slant.
I like the call though.
I hate that. See,
bet you
only
do.
a receiver. But guess what? A receiver that guess what? Malcolm Beasley said, "Thank you, coach." That dumbass.
Butler.
Malcolm Beasley. We call Malcolm Beasley. That's my dog, Malcolm Beasley. That's really my dog.
Yeah, he made one big play. We ain't gonna do that. But go ahead.
So what? You never answered the question.
I know where I bro on. But
You know what I'm on that
like you
demon
said though,
time.
at the end of the day, it's a football play. You feel what I'm talking about?
No, money. Don't give me that.
But the thing is, you feel me, like I told you before, I'm humble, so a lot of people, when they hear that, they won't think that. When it comes to the play call, and that was this type of situation, I'm boiling. And the only thing I could do was think that I need to get in his face. Because, yeah, Pete. So then what happened is, you in that mindset of like, should've gave me the ball, this, that, and the third. But then what it let me do was, it really got me the opportunity to see how people really felt about him. So when I walk in that building, you feel me though, that was a level of respect for me. That was like the highest level of respect to the point where we at the peak of our careers, you feel me though, with the opportunity to go ahead and start a dynasty, and then we fumble the bag on the 2-yard line. And now it's really helping, you feel me, with that business. Now them deals coming in, and now people, oh yeah, man, they should have gave you that ball. Conversation started, oh, okay, well, what kind of business you got? Oh, I got this, ooh, oh, okay, well, yeah, how, you know what I mean? How I wiggle myself up in this little thing right here, player. But now it's just you feel me, the capitalizing.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and it is now time for Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week. Love the graphic. I want one of those belts. How can I get one of those belts?
They'll make it happen for you, Ash.
I've never been a rookie, but in my mind, I've been Rookie of the Week. Well, listen, we are going to dive into our Week 6 nominees. Here they go. Go ahead and throw those guys up there for me, BC. Week six nominees. Who we got? Drum. The suspense is killing me. No. Okay. Listen, we're getting that graphic up, but we got 6 guys, one of which are going to go ahead and be joining us in just a matter of seconds. But first of all, like I said, we're going to go ahead and run through our Week 6 nominees, starting with, I think we all can kind of guess who's going to be on this list. It's Houston quarterback C.J. Stroud, passed for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Texans' Week 6 win. Number 2, we got Baltimore wide receiver Zay Flowers, caught 6 passes for 50 yards and 1 touchdown in the Ravens' Week 6 win. We have Las Vegas tight end Michael Mayer, caught 5 passes for 75 yards in the Raiders' Week 6 win. We have number 4, Los Angeles Rams outside linebacker Byron Young, who's going to be joining us in just a matter of seconds, recorded 6 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble in the Rams' Week 6 win. We got number 5, Juju Brents, quarterback from the Indianapolis Colts, recorded 7 tackles, 2 passes defended, and an interception in Week 6. And lastly, we have Seattle Seahawks cornerback Devon Witherspoon, recorded 4 tackles, 3 passes defended in Week 6. Now, like I told you, we did have a special guest joining us. So everybody, welcome to the show. Los Angeles Rams outside linebacker Byron Young. Hi, Byron. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
You're doing good. You're doing good. Well, listen, first and foremost, can you hear him? You can hear him okay?
I can't hear him.
Oh, I can't hear him either. Can somebody go ahead and mic check 1 2? There we go. Go ahead. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Good to go. Now we're good to go. Well, first and foremost, I need to go ahead and ask you the elephant in the room. Why number 0?
Well, it's just, my background and, where I came from, and everything I've been through, it's just my journey. It's a testimony to my journey. And I just, wear number 0 to remind myself where I came from and, the percentage of people that, was supporting me, while I really needed it, and versus now.
So, B, we know you play with one of the best defensive players in NFL history, right, in Aaron Donald. You got some cool stories that you can let us in on to show how, nice he really is that you've seen behind the scenes?
No, I don't really have that much, but, he definitely the best defensive player, mentor to me, great playing with him. But, yeah, he's a funny guy, though, great player.
You can't go ahead and name yourself. Okay, so take yourself out of the equation for this next question. Out of all the rookies across the league, who have you been most impressed with besides yourself, obviously?
I'll have to say Jalen Carter. Just watching him play and, the type of guy he is, coming from, college and still keeping that same mentality and playing the same way. He still got the same edge. So, I just love seeing him compete and play.
So I was a rookie once. I played 9 years, and it was a little while ago. I ain't going to show my age, right? But we know we always go through some kind of initiation. What's the craziest rookie story that you can tell us about yourself that happened in the locker room this year?
We actually didn't have anything. I didn't have anything like that yet.
Are they taking care of you?
Okay. Dang, no singing. You didn't have any singing competitions? Nothing?
No, well, we had to tell a joke, and my joke was pretty bad, so everybody booed me.
What was the joke?
Really yeah,
what was the joke?
It was pretty bad. I thought it was funny, but everybody else didn't.
I might laugh. What was it? Tell it to me.
It was.
I want to. No,
he's like, I'm not trying to pull this one out.
What is it? What's the joke?
It was embarrassing. I can't do that again.
Why? Brandon tells bad jokes on this show all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, this can't be told on TV.
he's like, I'm not gonna tell it twice. Is there video footage? He's like, you ain't gonna do it to me. But listen, we talk about the transition all the time, going from college to professional for rookies. So what has been the easiest transition for you, and what has been the toughest thing to kind of get acclimated to?
I'd say the toughest thing is just getting familiar with the routine and just getting a daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
Just as a player coming from college, you always kind of had people tell you doing this, you doing that. And in the NFL, it's your job and you got to be there. There's no reminders. You're a grown man, so it's just getting used to that. I never had a problem with being placed on time. It's just like getting an extra routine, and it's not school or anything like that. I'd say that was starting off at OTA. That probably was the toughest part, and then the easiest part is just I'd say getting to know people. You know, everybody here was friendly. You know, trying to help me. So that was a huge part on me moving forward.
How was the process of getting to know Matthew Stafford? I mean, there was the report that he was having a tough time getting to know the new rookies coming into the equation. He actually had to make like mini Facebook packets to learn your likes, your dislikes, face names, all that stuff. Poor thing. Gotta love Matthew Stafford. How was that, getting to know him?
It was pretty easy. You know, he's a great guy. Cool to talk to. Give advice if needed. I'll ask him for things if I need anything. But he's a great guy. Team guy. So love that guy.
So B, I gotta ask you this: you from South Carolina? You played at Tennessee. Now you in LA, land of the stars, with so much to do. How is it adjusting to that new environment out there?
Honestly, at first, I struggled a little bit because I'm not really a big city guy. I'm, from the country area in South Carolina, small town. So just getting more familiar with the place. But it's a lot to do, like you said. I just kind of lay low a little bit, trying to get more familiar with the area before I start doing a lot of things. But, I love it here already, a great place. And like I said, a lot of things to do.
See, I don't know. I can never get on the LA swag train. I can't do it.
Give him 2 or 3 years. When he got the whole playbook down, year 2, year 3.
I could never do it. I'm an East Coast girl. I was born and raised in New York. Now, obviously, I live in Miami, but I've always only ever lived on the East Coast. So when I go to LA, it's cool in spurts, but I'm like, yeah, I could never live out here. Like, it's the food, the traffic, the time difference. Like, I can't do it. Can't do it. It's just
B, I give you 2 years, B. We're going to circle back around, and I'm going to ask you about that LA environment. See if we got a different answer from you.
Though, for sure.
Right, and you got to leave your house like 2 hours in advance. That's crazy.
2 hours in advance at least if you're trying to get to the airport.
That's crazy.
I can't do it. Listen, we're going to play a little game of word association. So I'm going to give you some names, and I want you to think of one word, the first word that comes to mind. All right? Bryce Young.
Tough.
CJ Stroud.
Baller.
Bijan Robinson.
Dog.
Zay Flowers.
Speed.
Jalen Carter.
Animal.
Will Anderson.
Dog.
Byron Young.
Him.
Let's go. Let's go, B.
I love that. All right, one more question before I let you go. We've been asking all of our rookies this, and we actually one time got the same answer in the same show from 2 separate rookies, which is very cool. But I want you to fill in this sentence for me. My rookie year will be blank.
Everything I ever imagined.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
I like that.
B, you humble, man. I like your approach to everything, man. Seem like you got a good head on your shoulders. Keep grinding. Keep getting better, man. I love to see you making plays. Congrats to your accolades, and much respect.
Thank you so much for joining us, Byron. Have a great rest of the season, a healthy rest of the season. And listen, make sure you guys remember to vote for the NFL Rookie of the Week, the Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week. This guy's on the list, so if you want to go ahead and see him with the belt, make sure you go ahead and place your vote. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming by.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
Appreciate
you.
Bye.
All right, guys, so if you wanted to go ahead and vote for Byron or any of the other guys that we listed, make sure you head over to NFL Rookie of the Week, NFL.com/voting/rookies. That's NFL.com/voting/rookies. And this has been Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week. All right. So now we have some breaking news here. Terrell Owens was reportedly hit by a car after an altercation during a pickup basketball game last night. The police said T.O. did not need medical attention, so that's good. Nobody was hurt, severely hurt at least, to the point where there's the picture of the car there. First of all, so it traveled from the court to the highway. I don't understand what's going on here.
It's a lot going on here for the car to look like that, and he doesn't have any,
Right. So I'm trying to understand the picture. The game happens. There's an altercation in the game. He leaves to go back to wherever his home or wherever he's going, and this is how these are two different cars. And that's what the car looks like. Was it a road rage situation? Were they like chasing each other down the street? I'm just very confused on how this happened.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, but we just glad you are safe because, anything with the car looking like that, anything could have happened. So we glad that you're here today. You safe. And man, yeah, I'm pretty sure more come out on this story as days go by, but yeah, I'm compelled like you.
I mean, I've seen fights transpire at like pickup games. I've seen somebody like, I'm about to head to the car, and that's when you clear out. You know what I mean? If you're not from certain areas, you don't know what that means when someone says, I'm gonna head to the car. That's your cue to get the hell out of that vicinity because it's about to go down. But I've actually never seen like a pickup basketball game flow over into the streets, like driving your car. Like, I'm gonna chase you down the street if that's what happened here. Not saying that is, but I've never seen like cars involved to where they crash into. Like that's crazy.
Like some GTA getting in the
car. No, like some real Grand Theft Auto stuff.
Like I'm chasing you. Yeah, that's
it just seems a little bit dramatic, right?
Yeah. We'll see. Like he said, I was on my way home.
Well, this is what Terrell Owens put out on social media. This looks like Instagram. He said, I was on my way home, but this is how my day ended yesterday and how my day started today. Thankful for no injuries, health, and able to see another day. God is good. Well, listen, again, we are happy that he is okay. It's never that deep. It's just a pickup basketball game. None of y'all going to the NBA.
At the end of the day.
None of y'all going for the gold.
You can't tell them that in the why, though.
You know what I mean? Like, none of y'all, it's not that deep. None of y'all really, you're not LeBron James. It's okay.
You're not B-Flow on the court.
Brandon B for real. You
All-State. Yeah, All-State, basketball, football.
Who's a better player, you or Brandon Marshall?
B don't even look athletic on the basketball court. I'm just saying, like, I don't think he can give me a and a step back.
I'll tell you this. That's true. I will tell you this, though. Brandon's really good at shooting free throws.
I mean, you're not going to shoot free throws in a pickup game.
No, what I'm saying is like, if you ever were in a game and you needed someone at the line to, like, seal the deal, Brandon Marshall's who you want because I watched him bank, like, 12 of them back to back.
Yeah, well.
But I also saw him get dunked on at LSU, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But, yeah, I don't feel like he's got the agility.
Yeah, if you have a team that's struggling with their personnel, we need somebody that's going to get 30 quick, like Kyrie-ish, that's when you call me. And I get the word. Yeah.
You said Kyrie-ish?
Kyrie-ish. And I'm being humble about this right now. I'll get you some video.
That's your player, Kyrie Irving?
Yeah.
Best handles in the NBA, best handles maybe of all time.
And again, I'm being humble about this right now.
So if you're not being humble, who's your comparison? AI?
I don't think it's one. It's just my height. My height is the only reason I didn't continue to play basketball going forward.
What do you mean? There's shorter basketball players.
Not when I was coming. AI was the only one. And I was like, it's only one of him. I mean, football,
Chris Paul's small.
But me and Chris Paul like the same age. Like he wasn't. I didn't see it first, right? If I'd have been coming out now and seeing the Stephs and the Chris Pauls and Nate Robinson,
I feel like
I'd have been
we really got to set this up because I would like to see this. Just best of 10. You and Brandon Marshall. Like live on paper route.
10-0, easy.
Yeah, like live on paper route, best to 10. And we got to do some sort of bet, like on what the winner has to do or whatever. Like I actually would very much like to see that.
I'm with it.
Okay. We're going to set that up. We're going to figure out how we can go ahead and make that happen because the people want to see that. But more importantly, I need to see that just from the standpoint of he said Kyrie Irving and that's being humble. I said, whoa,
let's go,
I'm
baby.
I'm not mad at it at all. Listen, if you guys are listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, we want to thank you so much for listening to the show. If you want to see everything that goes on behind the scenes, all the cool graphics that we got here are set. You know, B-Flow talking about how he's Kyrie Irving, and you actually want to visualize that. Make sure you head over to the I Am Athlete YouTube page and watch the live stream there. But we will be back. Uncle Shay Shay, a.k.a. Count Dracula. God, don't ever let them do it. And the way that the goatee is just like
they colored it in.
It's just bad. The foundation's
bounce
too
back,
light.
bounce back.
Looks like he's wearing eyeshadow. It's just a mess. Listen, we will be back tomorrow, and it's my favorite day. It's hump day. Now Brandon knows what the game plan is when we open the show on Wednesday.
I'm on now.
We're going to be good.
Let's get it.
You guys have a good one. We'll be back. Uncle Shay Shay, get a darker foundation shade, my guy. Don't let him do that to you again.